Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. So I just wanted to use the LoisCosmetics Meet Me at Midnight palette again. This is just a quick little tutorial of this particular eye look. So if you want to see how I did it, it is just this eyeshadow palette, then do please keep on watching. So I'm starting off with the Zoeva 225 and I'm going into the shade Midnight. And this is quite a nice pigmented black, so a little goes a long way. I've been using this quite a bit. The way that it differs from the Meet Me in the Underworld is there's a little bit of a sparkle in this one that you don't have in the Meet Me in the Underworld. But even if it wasn't that different, I'd be kind of happy with it because I just think every palette should have a black in it. I'm now taking this Melt Cosmetics brush and I'm going into the shade Mysterious. And I'm just kind of smacking that on top of the black because it gives it a really nice, deep sort of a shade. I am frustrated with my eyes at the moment because I can see how much they're starting to droop. Like, I'm really not enjoying this aging process. Benjamin Button had it very lucky, like aging backwards. Although I will say, full disclosure, I had Botox almost 2 weeks ago and I know that the eyelids do have a tendency sometimes to droop a little bit with that, but still, aging, I don't like it. And now I'm using this Spectrum A12 and I'm going into the shade New Day. Now this is a much more pink toned than the previous shade, so it's much kind of brighter, but they can be used to kind of blend in with each other. So I'm putting that just on the outside and then kind of trying to work its way in. It just kind of stops it from being like overly dark, although I did make this to a very, very dark look because this is, by the way, for releases and rants, and our theme this week was basically an alternative to the Beauty Bay palette because it has been announced and launched and sold, and we were kind of saying, well, how would we like to see it? And this is my kind of alternative look. Like, I think this is quite seductive, she said in a weird voice. Apparently that's how I'm seducing these days. So I'm just kind of meshing these together. As you can see, they blend really, really nicely. Using the Zoeva 225 again, and I'm going back into Midnight, which is the black. And I'm just popping that bit extra on. Not too much though, just to kind of smoke it out a little bit further because I'm adding back in some of that black. And I'm taking the melt brush and going back into the shade Mysterious. Because let's face it, those lines that I have made, they're more harsh than some of my primary school teachers. So we're just going to try and like soften it down a little bit further. I'm like really taking Daniela's advice about like adding, taking away, adding, taking away. And I think it is helping my eyeshadow game a little bit. That being said, I am still a lazy bee and want to get an entire look done in about an hour. So yeah, that's as much time as I'm willing to spend on these things. And now taking the Spectrum A12 and I'm going back into New Day. Again, just attempting to kind of soften that out a little bit more to kind of bring down the tone of that blackness. I mean, my God. And yes, I do bring it straight up into the brow and apparently all the way to the scalp. Now I'm just taking this Melt Meshla brush, which I think is how it's pronounced, and there's no product on it, but I'm just going to use that to blend. And in general, they do blend very, very well, but obviously I put we're going to say a shit ton of black on, so I just want to kind of disperse that out a little bit further and bring it as close to the hairline as possible. I mean, probably not. I shouldn't put it out all the way to the hairline. Like, that's a bit ridiculous, Teresa. On you, I mean, look lovely on other people, but I look like a fucking clown. And the villagers say that sometimes at night, they can still hear her blending, eternally blending. And by an eternity, I of course mean all of, maybe a minute, because I'm a lazy bitch. But anyways, it's fine. We're deviating a little bit from the palette now because I am actually using one of the liquid metal shadows in the shade Queensguard. It's this lovely pinky silver and I'm just going to apply that with the Zoeva 238. I mean, just look at the pigment of these. Like, this is nuts. Look at that. Like, ugh. These are better than Stila. I don't care what anyone says. I think they're better than Stila. Now I'm going in really lightly because like the pigment on these is a little bit bananas bonker balls. So going in very, very lightly. And then I'm taking a Morphe M562 and all I'm going to do is just kind of gently blend that out towards the center of the eye. This is just so crazy pigmented. Ugh. I need her to come out with more shades of these. A chartreuse green would be rather excellent. Please and thank you. Now I'm taking another Morphe M562 and I'm going into the shade Guided. And I'm just putting that here on the brow bone, like really, really lightly, and just dispersing it out like that. And once I have that done, then I am just going to kind of cut out the halo eye. Are the eyes twins? No, but they did just get an email alert from myancestry.com to say that they are fifth cousins. So that's a sort of a result. Now I'm taking the Zoeva 238 and I'm going into the shade Blood Moon. And I'm just going to smack that onto the centre of the lid with what can only be termed reckless abandon. It is so lovely and pigmented. And I think the colours work really nicely. Like this is a palette that you can get quite a few different types of looks from. So I find it quite exciting. And now I'm just taking a Suva 350 and I'm going into the shade Illuminated. And all I'm doing is just kind of putting that either side of the Blood Moon, which sounds like a very odd phrase to say, but sure, look, there we go. And because I have deep-rooted issues, I'm taking, and I mean the tiniest bit of Queen's Guard onto a Zoeva 238, and I want to pop that on top of the lid. And I want to disperse that out so I get a little bit of glitter, but nothing massive, like super subtle. Like literally, this is as much as I'm talking about. Like that's it. No more than that, Teresa, stop it. Okay, I can't lie, I actually ended up putting on a little bit more because I have no self-control. And now all I'm doing is taking a Morphe M562 and I'm going to sweep it across the lid. And again, really going over that glitter as well, just to kind of get it to really disperse in with the shades there. But you can see they actually blend pretty darn nicely. So now I'm just taking a Zoeva 225 again and I'm just kind of putting it here. I haven't taken any fresh product on it, just to try and disperse it a little bit further and have a bit more of like a smooth edge or whatever, who knows. Don't listen to me, I don't know what I'm talking about. And we're almost there. I'm just taking this melt brush and I'm going into the shade Phase. And I honestly cannot get over the pigment that comes from this shade. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's this beautiful lilac-y pastel shade and yet you get so much pigment from it. I'm so impressed. And finally, I'm just using a Morphe M562 and I'm sweeping it along here so I get a little bit more of a soft transition. And then the very last thing I'm doing is using this LoisCosmetics liquid liner. It's in the shade Polka Dot and I'm just going to be using that just above the halo eye and just a couple of dots along the side there. But other than that, that's it. And we'll come back once I have the whole look put together. Okay, the rest of the look is done. I will zoom you in now so you can see the eyes. So these are the eyes. It's pretty simple, but it all works really, really nicely. I think it does just show how diverse this palette actually is. And like even when I take the glasses off, I think you can see it a little bit better. I paired them with the Powerhouse lashes, which are also from LoisCosmetics. But I think this does just show that you can do quite a few things with this eyeshadow palette. Anyways guys, that was it. That was the whole thing. Just a very quick little tutorial. Let me know what you guys think. Are you picking this up? Have you picked it up? Are you excited? I've had this for a while and I have really enjoyed playing with it. It is a new favourite. Anyways, that is it. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you can see more, whatever it is that goes on over here. And do please share, because sharing is caring, unless of course it's an STD, in which case, you know, wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.